What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Lakers Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we got a fun one as we are getting reports that the Orlando Magic are interested in D'Angelo Russell. What could they give up in a trade for him? And then also, Chris Paul. Could he be cut from the Golden State Warriors, and does it make sense for the Lake Show to bring him in as a backup point guard? We're diving into that on the second half of today's show. But let's kick it to Kelly, who works for The Athletic, and she covers the Orlando Magic, and she dropped an article saying this: Orlando is interested in Lakers guard D'Angelo Russell. League sources tell The Athletic Russell has an $18.7 million player option for the 2024-25 season. He can opt out if he chooses to test the open market. And with D'Lo having that player option of $18.7 million, I'm assuming he's going to opt into this. Maybe I'm completely wrong right here. And, as watching the Lakers a lot during the postseason, just seeing his struggles, I would be willing to put money. $18.7 million is the most he could get on a per year basis compared to any other offer he could get. And listen, D'Lo, he's great in the regular season. I mean, these numbers as a starting point guard in the NBA, if you showed me this and didn't show me who the player was, I would be like, man, I would want him on my basketball team any day of the week. Averaging 18, 6.5 assists, and the efficiency. He was shooting the piss out of the ball following the NBA trade deadline, and why he got his three-point percentage up to 45.5%. But I'm assuming he will opt into this deal, so it could take the Orlando Magic trading for D'Angelo Russell. Well, I cooked up a trade idea here. So the contracts are very similar, so it ends up working out. Jonathan Isaac and a second-round pick for D'Angelo Russell. I know the alarms may be sounding right now. Why would we trade D'Lo for necessarily a defender, a Swiss Army knife? And D'Lo's obviously way more productive than him. Well, here's why. I got 5 reasons. So number one, his size is ridiculous. He's 6'10", has a 7-foot-long wingspan, can guard multiple positions. He is an elite defender, like one of the most underrated and slept-on defensive players we have in the NBA right now. Still very young, 26 years old, very much improved jumper, and with his size, he's got a really high release point, and that's why I put the last one. Michael Porter Jr., I'm not saying he'll ever be the shooter that MPJ is, but play that very similar role where it's like you are the corner shooter and you knock down threes in the flow of the offense, but you're also an elite defender, just making you a huge positive on the basketball court. And looking at his numbers right here from last year, you're saying you're out of your damn mind if you would trade D'Angelo Russell for Jonathan Isaac. Well, keep in mind this was in only 15.8 minutes per game, in and out of the lineups due to injuries over the past couple of seasons. Finally started to get his feet wet this past go-around, but really improved that three-point shooting. That's a key stat on screen right now. He got that up to 37.5% from downtown. And, I would consider myself, and I may be the only one in this camp, is a Jonathan Isaac fan. And, strictly on the basketball court here. His ability to guard 1 through 4 and honestly can guard some 5s in the pick and roll, I think it's special. I think it's unique. And I think he's, if we're looking around the NBA right now, you got guys like Jaden McDaniels, the PJ Washingtons, these long and athletic wings where they just, knock down threes in the flow of the offense, but then they're also creating so much havoc on the defensive side of the floor. That's Jonathan Isaac. And now taking a look at his catch and shoot three-point percentage here, this is key. 37.7%. What's the number one kind of attribute to have when you're playing around, LeBron James or just any great player? The ability to catch and shoot the three-point ball. He does that at a pretty high rate. Then also, just due to his athletic ability and his size, he's also great at getting to the rim free throw line down, shooting at 65.7%. I see the potential in Isaac, but also I got a sweet quote from the Magic head coach who's coming after a playoff game, and he says, Jonathan Isaac is an elite defender. I think he just knows his timing. He knows he can guard bigs. He can guard smalls. He has great anticipation. His ability to protect the rim, but also sit down and guard guys that are on the perimeter and be able to contest all shots with his length. And the Lakers need that. Jared Vanderbilt is probably the only guy that fits that archetype of player that they have on this roster, but Jonathan Isaac would do that at a much higher level. And, you'd be almost sacrificing some of the offensive, production that you do get for D'Lo, but I think overall it would make the Lakers just a better basketball team if they would go get the Magic forward. And plus, you're picking up another second-round pick in this trade idea. Maybe you draft Ronnie James. Obviously, that's another story for another day. But would you accept this deal? Give me an A for accept or a D for decline down in the comment section. Hey, also, if you're a Magic fan, would you do this? Let me know your thoughts as well. A for accept, D for decline. So we are getting reports that the Lakers are interested in Chris Paul. LeBron James is, one of his best friends. So we'll dive into that story coming up here in a second. But first off, I got to tell you guys about Prize Picks, today's presenting sponsor of the Lakers Report. If you guys download the Prize Picks app, use promo code CLNS. We will match your first deposit into your account up to $100. Prize Picks, it's daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You guys can put your basketball knowledge to the test and start seeing the cash roll in today. We got games starting here in a little bit. Mavericks, Timberwolves, and I'm taking the more on Derek Lively points at 7.5, more on McDaniels 10.5, and more on Naz Reid, one of my favorite players in the NBA right now, at more than 9.5. But fade those picks, ride those picks. But we just ask you guys to do so at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS, and we will match your first deposit into your account. First deposit only, up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. It's Prize Picks. All right, let's break down this report about the Lakers possibly being interested in Chris Paul. This comes from Eric Pincus, who's a pretty tapped-in NBA insider, saying Chris Paul will probably be a free agent. There's reasonable chance he gets traded or just cut by the Warriors. Says LeBron James and him obviously have a close relationship. There is a universe where the Lakers sign Chris Paul. I don't think it's outrageous. I would be remiss without mentioning Chris Paul as a real possibility. It makes a lot of sense to me. Is Chris coming in for the minimum? I don't know. I don't want to say he comes cheap to the Lakers, but in the absence of a better offer, I could see that, and I totally agree with Eric on that. I could easily see Chris Paul, if he doesn't get a better offer elsewhere, he'll just want to come play with LeBron James no matter what. And I think Chris Paul would have value on this Lakers roster. I think the backup point guard position has become underrated in the NBA, and a little bit is, just me underrating it. Like, I never thought it was like a big position of need on a basketball team, just mainly because I've always been in the camp, like, the best players tell the story in the NBA. Like, if you have a strong starting five, like, that tells the story better than anybody. But you look at guys like TJ McConnell. You look at, like, even though Mike Conley's not a backup for the Timberwolves, but just having those, like, pace of play guards where they can just man a second unit. I mean, you guys look at the the Indiana Pacers, and what TJ McConnell's doing with that second unit. I mean, he has a bunch of just okay play finisher type of guys performing at a very high level. And Chris Paul, he would excel at that, and he did a pretty damn good job with the Warriors this past season. And only 26 minutes a game. I mean, the dude was still averaging 7 assists a night. Like, he was still very productive, and also 9 points as well. Always been super efficient throughout his career, and also quick hands on defense. Even though he's not a great on-ball defender, he's great at getting his hands in passing lanes, just those pickpocket type of steals. And also his offensive rating, fantastic. When he was on the court with backups last season for the Warriors, 123.7 offensive rating. That's fantastic. Like, if you are getting that from your backup point guard, that is better than 95% of the rest of the NBA. And I think the Lakers have a chance to do so. And I'll tell you what, if you want any more ammunition to keep LeBron James in Los Angeles this summer, I guarantee you LeBron would love having his best friend playing with him back here with the Lakers. But my overall take on Chris Paul. So we know the rumors. The Lakers want to go all in on Donovan Mitchell. They want to go all in on Trae Young or even a guy like Darius Garland. Which means if you make some of those trades, you're probably going to have to give up some of your bench. And adding a guy like Chris Paul would be a great backup option because he could take C-level players and, just overall with his impact, they could have B-level production. And Chris Paul would do that, especially if you swing big and, consolidate a bunch of assets and players and you go get a guy like Donovan Mitchell or Trae Young. Like Chris Paul off the bench would be great in the locker room. Overall, I'm still a fan of Chris Paul. A lot of people think he's cooked, and, I think that's just a bunch of Instagram commenters who don't really, watch the game and really watch what the impact he has on the basketball court, is. And, I'd be all in on the Lakers signing Chris Paul. But let me know. What would you do? Would you sign Chris Paul? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comment section. Curious to see what the Lake Show faithful have to say. And also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. Daily Lakers videos coming your way soon. So hit that sub button. Lock us in. See you guys next time. Go Lakers.